Good morning, YouTube. This is Kelsey from Kels Reads Things, also known as Librarians Recommend. I am here on this Friday morning to discuss with you Would Like to Meet by Rachel Winters. It is an adult romance comedy, and I give it a rating of PG-13. Just for those who are interested in ratings, that is probably what I would recommend it for. And I'm going to now dive into the plot. So, Would Like to Meet is about 29-year-old Evie Summers. It's written from her perspective. She is the overwhelmed and overworked assistant to Ezra Chester, who is this big kind of one-hit wonder screenwriter. And they both work for the William Jonathan Montgomery and Sons Agency for Screenwriters. With little to no time to herself and ready to excel in her career to be promoted to agent, Evie is desperate to convince the conceited and cynical Ezra to write a romance comedy script for producers Sam and Max. Now, he has missed every single deadline up to the point when the book starts for this script, so Evie is more or less desperate at this point because he has been given 3 months to write the script, or Sam and Max are done, which means the agency will go under. So, determined to keep her job and eventually be promoted and taken more seriously by her boss, Monty, Evie strikes up a deal with Ezra. She will create meet-cutes, real-life meet-cutes, all across London, and then write about her experiences and send them to Ezra to convince him that romance comedies can be real life. Because his major complaint about why he hasn't finished the script yet is because he doesn't think romance comedies are realistic. And the last script that he wrote that became so big and made him so huge was pretty depressing, a very sad love story about a couple that didn't love each other anymore and didn't really want to admit it. So Evie is just desperate and determined to prove to him that meet-cutes can be real, even though she is not really looking to fall in love at this point due to a heartache that she suffered a year ago. So she right now is just trying to convince Ezra that meet-cutes can be real, and just so he'll write this script. He even starts asking her to write her own scripts based on her own experiences, and she does. Now, one of the benefits about her meet-cutes, even though she recognizes them as pretty humiliating and humbling, they're at least getting her to write again. Now, it was Evie's original dream to be a screenwriter. However, when she first entered the career, she was told by Monty, her boss, that she just didn't have the talent. And unfortunately, this was told to her during a time when she was very emotionally vulnerable due to something that happened before the story begins. Now, I'm not going to give that away because that'll be a little bit of a spoiler, but just so you know, Evie is supposed to be a talented screenwriter or potential screenwriter, but she's never been given the opportunity or taken seriously by Monty. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. So Evie is going across London every week and nearly embarrassing herself. And she runs into a couple of innocent bystanders, 7-year-old Death, Annette, and her distant and quiet father, Ben. They happen to notice a meet-cute that goes completely wrong. It was actually the first meet-cute that Evie sets up in a cute cafe in downtown London. And ever since that first meet-cute, Evie finds herself meeting with Ben and Annette nearly every week. And they're there to just kind of encourage her and act as, solidarity for the fact that she has to go through this. So that was really, really interesting. Stumbling her way to agent and or screenwriter, Evie learns that she just has to believe in herself in order to achieve her dreams. So that's the major synopsis, major background point of Would Like to Meet by Rachel Winters. Now, I really enjoyed the book. I gave it a rating of 4.5 out of 5 stars just because it was a very enjoyable read. I think I finished it within 3 days. There wasn't a whole lot of, jumbled plot lines to keep up with. It was straightforward story, one narrator, so that's something that I liked. It was a very funny book, including the insane situations that Evie gets herself into, the dialogue between herself and the other characters, including Ezra, including her childhood friends who she has a group chat with throughout the entire time, and whose wedding, one of them they're planning for Sarah's wedding. And Sarah is very high maintenance, so to speak. So those interactions between Evie and Sarah and Mariah and her other friend, his name escapes me right now, but he's there too. So that was really funny, and there was a lot of irony in the story as well, and that's always something that I enjoy. It was a light read. The friendships were very supportive, and even the budding ones were really well done, so I really enjoyed that about the book. It was also really heartfelt. There were a lot of moments when I was just like, that is so precious and so sweet. And the pacing was very good because of the way it was written. It's a very modern novel, if that gives you any indication of what kind of book it is. It's definitely a romance, but not really written in a classic style. It was also a very feminist-forward novel, which was always something I enjoy reading. I enjoy reading about women who uplift themselves and others, so that's just me, something that I enjoyed. And Evie herself reminded me a little bit of a mix of Lorelai and Rory Gilmore. So if you're interested in Gilmore Girls, the TV show, I think you might see a little bit of them reflected through Evie herself. So that was really cool. One thing that's just a tiny nitpick for me is Evie is supposed to have red hair. And I think Ben is supposed to have like really dark brown hair, but in the cover, you know, Evie looks like she has brown hair. So that's just a tiny little thing that I was like, that's strange. Didn't really have anything to do with the content of the book. However, the cover didn't really seem to match the characters. So there's that. And also the book touched on things, experiences that people have whenever they lose someone who is special to them. Whether it be a family member, whether it be a lover or a friend, there were a lot of moments that touched on that, and it touched on getting back into your hobbies after a loss, finding yourself again, gaining self-confidence after that person is gone, and gaining your own self-worth again. So that was really well done. I thought a lot of the dynamics of all the characters were great. Even Monty, who I did not like, and you're not really supposed to like Monty because he's just constantly putting Evie down and telling her, you know, that she's never going to get promoted if she doesn't keep Ezra in line, which is really frustrating because Ezra is his own person. And yes, Evie is an assistant to Ezra, but this is supposed to be his script that he's writing, but Evie is getting all of the reprimands because Ezra hasn't put in the script yet. So that was really frustrating, but that wasn't really something I would rate against the book at all. But again, it just shows that the characters were dynamic, and almost no one was one-dimensional or two-dimensional, so that was great. There was an excellent representation of people who have disabilities. Annette, the 7-year-old little girl, was deaf, and the way that the author wrote about that was just very well done. I thought it was very appropriate, and there were a lot of lessons learned. In this book, I gotta say, one of my favorite scenes is when Evie is trying to do one of her meet cutes, and she joins this mysterious book group without any kind of research, and she finds out that it was a group for fantasy dragon erotica. So again, there's some adult content, but it doesn't really dive into, you know, the scenes at all, but that was probably one of the funniest scenes to read about in this entire book, so I really enjoyed that. There were very little things that I disliked. The biggest critique was that Evie herself could be a bit judgmental at times and jump to conclusions. She was also pretty obtuse about how one of the characters felt about her, and that was kind of frustrating to read because it's like, it was pretty obvious to the audience, I think, that this character is interested in Evie. So just as a reader, I was like, Evie, come on. And I would have liked to have seen more moments of between Evie and one other character, which I won't say because, again, I don't want to give too much away about this book. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well written, it was well done, it was entertaining, and it was also heartfelt, and it touched on a lot of things that need to be brought into the light. So again, would like to meet a 4.5 out of 5-star rating. And I would recommend it to readers who enjoy fun, light reads, or maybe who just need a break from heavier reading material. Alrighty, well, that's all I have today for Would Like to Meet by Rachel Winters. I believe next Friday I will either be doing a book review on Heir of Fire, the third book in the Throne of Glass series. That, or I'm going to discuss with you, I think I've read about 10 to 12 books this year, and I'm going to be discussing which ones I liked the most, all the ratings that I gave them, and going to pick a favorite romance and a favorite fantasy, because those are the two major genres that I read. Alrighty guys, well, if you like this video, please feel free to subscribe, give me ideas for things to read next, tell me what you like, what I'm doing, things that I could change. But thank you for viewing, and I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Bye-bye.